Leilani, and thank you for joining me for another episode of Leilani Drinks the Brown Stuff in my backyard. I'm so glad you guys are here. So I ended up finding this whiskey at my local grocery store on the cheap, and it came with a booklet. So bottle, booklet, sale, it's all the makings of getting the whiskey bought. So I bought it. So tonight we are getting into the Lord Lieutenant Kinahan's Irish whiskey. 1779 was when it was established, and off of Trinity Street in Dublin. Now they do proclaim that they are the pioneers of the small batch whiskey. Now it's non-chill filtered. It is a 92 proof, 46% ABV. It has been aged in various wood casks. They distill it, mature it, bottle it in Ireland, and age it for at least 3 years. I almost said 5. 3 years. And it has to, in order for it to be considered Irish whiskey and a product of Ireland. Now, this particular whiskey states that they do not bottle any of the whiskey until their sample match tastes to the original recipe in 1779. So how cool is that? 1807, this whiskey ended up garnering the look-sees and the attention of the Lord Lieutenant Charles Lennox of Ireland, and he was the 4th Duke of Richmond. He was so enamored by it, he was like, just slap my letters on it and call it my whiskey. It'll be exclusively for me. They literally put LL on the cask for Lord Lieutenant for him. I mean, how richy rich, and what a power grab move to be like, I want this distillery to be mine and mine only. What? Just selfish. Rich and selfish. Not sharing with anyone. That's ridiculous. So, 1819, he dies. And in 1820, this whiskey ends up going back out where it should be. To the lowlife, to the wenches, to the common folk, to people like me who enjoy whiskey and just want to drink it. Now, this company must have been doing super well, because around 1819, while death was happening, they set up a 4-story headquarter off of the corner of Burquay and Dollier Street in Dublin. And this 4-story building was called the Carlisle Building. Now, right around the mid-20th century, this historic building was torn down. So it's not like a place you can visit. And I love Ireland because they have a ton of old things that you could see, just ruined castles and just land and sheep. And some places still don't even have electricity, yo. That's dope. I saw a woman living by the water, still with one of those gas lanterns, and I was like, okay, it's cold out here. Is that all you got to keep yourself warm? With all the scandalous activity happening, some shady stuff was going down in Dublin. And what these local merchants were doing was stealing the mark of LL Kinahan to bolster their own whiskey sales. And in particular, in 1863, a local grocer off of Westmoreland Street in Dublin named William Bolton created like a legal battle, and it was called Kinahan versus Bolton. Now, the court granted injunction, and then they awarded full legal protection to the brand, making it like the first protection of a whiskey trademark in history. So this bottle also states that it is the preferred whiskey of Jerry Thomas since 1862. Now, after doing some digging, I found out that Jerry Thomas is the father of American mixology, and he was just a bartender. But because of his creativity and showmanship, he changed the name game of being just a drink-slinging bartender to being a creative professional. And in 1862, his book, How to Mix Drinks, was the first drink mix book that was published in the United States. Crazy that they didn't want to publish any books about mixology. So kudos to him to being the first person that was able to get that done. Now, in his book, he recommended that the L.L. Kinahan's whiskey, above all other whiskeys, should be used in his recipe of his hot Irish whiskey. They also garnered several awards and what would they say, seals of approval. I think they ended up getting like 3 warrants of appointments, and that was just basically the seal of approval back in the day. And in order to get one, you had to have served your whiskey or whatever the royal household for at least 5 years. Don't get fired, because then you won't get one. I don't care if it's 4.5. That warrant's gone. So in 1845, Queen Victoria did it. Again, she renewed it in 1845. And then in 1901, King Edward VII did another warrant. Amazing. Now, some of their older awards, like the Dublin International Exhibition, was in like 1865, and then the Dublin International Exhibition was in 1878. What ended up changing the game for this company was around 1903, when the longest-serving director, George Kinahan? I'm just saying all sorts of Irish names now. George Kinahan died, and there died the long-running association with civic life in Dublin for this particular brand. Now, then came the economic, just disaster for Ireland, and that happened between 1900 and 1914, where whiskey production was low, whiskey consumption was low. I'm sure everything else was low, but I'm only particularly concerned with the whiskey right now, as usual, right? So right around 1911, they ended up transferring the director of operations to a company called Bagot Hutton, and this company was a kind of like a wholesaler. What they do now, they had been around for quite some time, and they ended up selling like whiskey and spirits. They were that type of enterprise, and they ended up selling abroad, including to the United States, until Prohibition hit for the U.S. in 1920, shutting down everything. So in 1920, Kinahan ended up again merging and then registering into business with them, and then was called Bagot, Hutton, and Kinahan. All of them in one big boat, all so happy. Right around 1980, they ended up buying some vaults like on Hamilton Row in Dublin. And this relationship did end up dissolving 8 years later in October 1988-ish. So right around 2014, this company decided to come roaring back with its new ideas and to reintroduce their whiskey to the world. So without further ado, let's get into our first Irish whiskey. That's right, we haven't done one. Tonight's the night we gonna do it all right. Very cute and very easy pull tab, very easy to find, very easy to grab a hold of and get to uncorking. Come on, baby. That's a good one. Why do I smell watermelon? Is someone eating watermelon? I smell watermelon and cantaloupe when I'm smelling off the first notes. Very fruity. What? I feel like I'm having like a fruit bowl happening right now in my nostrils instead of my mouth. Yeah, guys, it is literally one of those fruit bowls that people make. And there might be some banana in it. I don't like banana in my fruit bowls, but you know, maybe in the whiskey. So let's give it a try. Oh, since it was fruit, I decided to give myself a full woman's pour. Make sure I get all my fruit and vegetables today. Let me smell it again in the glass. I smell more slightly of a perfumey aroma, but it still has the backdrop of fruit. Bread. I smell some bread, and I love bread. You know what? I have to tell y'all that at the beginning of this week, I decided not to do carbs at night. During the day is fine, at night not. But now I'm smelling bread, so maybe I could really smell some bread. Fruit and bread. That's a good meal, yo. And a glass of whiskey, hello. Take a look at this golden hue. And it is really yellow, like, I just went to the bathroom yellow.
Banana yellow. You smell bananas, it's like banana yellow.
Okay. So, banana yellow. We will be using banana yellow as the color for tonight. Apple juice, yeah.
I'm just saying, you went straight to pee-pee.
Yeah. Well, that's the end result, isn't it? It's gonna come out as pee-pee. So this is basically what it might look like if you're not getting enough water. Anyway, let me drink this. I taste the sweetness. It was almost like having a little bit of a pie in my mouth. Warmth, but it dissolves quickly. So you can get the flavor of some of the lighter fruit and floral notes that are coming through. You guys, this is nice, yo. Tasting Irish whiskey truly for the first time, and it being a $15 bottle. And no wonder he was like, excuse me, this is my whiskey. I could slap my name on it. Leilani's whiskey. It's mine. I wish I was that bitch. Super smooth, watery mouthfeel, yo. There is not a whole lot of burning going on except slightly at the back end, and then it releases. It's like it's just letting you know, hey, I'm whiskey, but I'm not here to kill you. I'm just here to let you know that I'm here. And I like it. I like it a lot. So those of you who are scared of the burn, a nice Irish whiskey can get you all started properly. Plus, you'll be getting your fruits. So think about that if you haven't had your fruit for the day. A little bit of vanilla, and maybe this particular could have been in a sherry cask. I mean, that's possibly where some of the sweetness comes from. And they said they use like Spanish sherry cask. So they just get their wood from everywhere. Wow, guys. Okay, you know what? I'm surprised I'm going to do this because honestly, I don't think I've given a bottle of whiskey at this price point this type of rating, but for me, Leilani Drinks the Brown Stuff is going to give LL Kinahan 5 kisses. 5 kisses for $15, yo. 5, because they deserved it. Oh my goodness, this is awesome. Come on now, Kinahan. I'm gonna have to do some more Irish whiskeys up in this show now, guys, because this is absolutely delicious. So the next time you're at your grocery store and you see this $15 bottle of Kinahan's, don't be afraid to pick it up and say cheers. I'm gonna have me a night.